In business statistics, in the last lesson, we have seen about the introduction of correlation, that is meaning, definition, uses, and advantage and disadvantage of correlation. So in this lesson, we will be looking into the correlation analysis again, the methods of correlation. We will also see Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, Spearman's rank correlation, and also probable error. So after completion of this lesson, a student will be able to understand the methods of correlation, both graphic and algebraic, and Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, Spearman's rank correlation coefficient of correlation, and also the meaning of probable error. To quickly recap what we have seen in the last lesson, bivariate data means the data which is having two parameters from one person or a source. Two parameters, that is, for example, height and weight, income and expenditure, age and qualification, age and experience, qualification and experience, and so many other things. Like this, we have to take two variables for comparison, you can say. Correlation is a statistical technique. So we have seen in the last lesson what is actually correlation, definition of correlation, etc., in which we have seen the correlation is a statistical technique which is used to measure degree of change. Degree of change means, as I said, the amount of change in two or more variables. Just now I have explained you what is bivariate. So when we take height and weight, so the change, degree of change in the height and weight, and is there any relation between this height and weight, are also looked into. That is called correlation. Correlation is only a concept, but correlation coefficient measures the concept of correlation. So to measure the correlation concept, we have to use coefficient of correlation. Correlation analysis is useful to measure the value of one variable with the given value of another variable. This is also explained in next unit, that is regression analysis. And correlation also used to remove the uncertainty. Uncertainty means whether it happens or not, we do not know. For example, I say it will rain today, but whether it will rain today or not, we cannot say. That is uncertainty. Whether it will happen or not, we cannot say. So such type of things this correlation will remove to some extent, because we can predict to some extent whether such thing happens or not. For progressive development of science and philosophy, for improvement in the science and philosophy, for development in the science and philosophy also, correlation is useful. That is an application part. For good and timely business decisions. In business also, correlation is very well used, and it is best suited in so many things. For so many things, for comparing, for predicting, for doing so many things, we will be using correlation in business also. So to take business decisions, business is nothing but taking decisions to do or not to do. So when we take such decisions, we will take the help of statistical tools also. One of the statistical technique or statistical tool is correlation. We will also take the concept of averages like median, mean, and so many other things also will take. Regression also will use. So along with that, correlation also is used for taking business decisions in timely or in time. And it is correlation is also used for economic behavior. Economic behavior, as I explained in you in the last lesson, economic means it is related to financial aspect of the country, financial things of the country. Measure the degree of relationship between two or more variables. Now, the correlation, its merits. We have looked into the merits and demerits of correlation in the last lesson. Just briefly, I will explain you again. It measures the degree of relation between two or more variables. As I said, it will measure the degree of two variables. Two variables, how it varies or how it closely related. That will be explained. It predicts future targets of sales and profits. As I said, it will be used in the business decisions also. Future targets can be fixed by using the correlation, like sales, profits, purchases, expenditure. So many other targets can be fixed. So that can be done with the help of correlation also. It studies economic concepts. It is used in economic behavior also, as we see in the last slide. So the same thing, law of demand, elasticity of demand, all these things are related to economic subject, which will be discussed when we come across the economics. It estimates one variable value with given value of the another. So as I said, we can estimate one value with another value. If two values are there, one is known and one is unknown, then if one is given, one is known, the other second one can also be predicted, which is unknown. It studies critically important economic variables, and it also studies critically important economic variables. Economic variables, again, financial aspects of the country that can be studied. And these are also the merits and demerits of correlation. Its predictions and precise and reliable. Predictions are very precise, very straight, very direct, and they can also be relied for doing so many things. It is very useful to trade, commerce, and industry. We have seen business applications, industrial applications. We can apply for this correlation. So trade, commerce, industry, everywhere we can use. And it is the basis for ratio of variation. Ratio of variation means variation, how it varies, how it differs, how it relates. So two variables are compared. That is called ratio of variation. And regression analysis. Regression analysis we will see in the next lesson. And it contributes to the economic behavior. As I said, it contributes to the economic behavior. And coming to some of the demerits, no cause and effect relationship is there. So sometimes we cannot, it is difficult to establish cause and relation, but there is definitely a cause and relation effect which we cannot establish in some cases. So it is sometimes pure chance. We predict something and we apply the correlation, and the critics say that it is only a pure chance that we get the correct answer, but it may not be correct. But it is not always correct um, because we are using the correlation scientifically, mathematically proved, then we can apply this formula or apply this application correlation very confidently. And variables are mutually dependent. Mutually dependent means it is dependent on one another. That is called mutual dependence. And we have seen types of correlation as positive and negative, simple and multiple, partial and total, linear and non-linear, logical and illogical. So all these are the types of correlation. And correlation value will always be between plus minus 1 and minus 1. The answer will not be more than 1 or less than 1. That's all. Methods of correlation is graphic method and algebraic method. And graphic methods are graph or correlogram, that is also called correlogram, and scatter diagram also we will use. Mostly scatter diagram is used for this correlation explanation, correlation concept by using graphs. By using graphs, plotting of individual values of the two or more variables on graph obtain two curves. Study direction and closeness of two curves. Study direction and closeness. Direction and closeness means how they are moving. Whether they are moving very close or whether they are moving very far, and closeness of two curves, and gives rough idea of correlation. Gives rough idea of correlation. And coming to the scatter diagram data is plotted on graph in the form of dots. For each pair of x and y, a dot is plotted on graph and obtain as many dots as the number of observations, and allows visual examination of relation between variables. Obtain as many dots as the number of observations means for each observation we will place one dot for x as well as y, and after that the dots will be plotted on the graph paper and allows visual examination of relation between variables. And we can observe visually by seeing the graph paper, we can say that some relation is there, some relation is not there, because of the formation of the graph paper or graph diagram, and by putting some dots on the graph paper. Helps in selecting model for estimation. For estimating, a model will be prepared. For that purpose, this correlation can be used by using scatter diagram. If points on chart shows up or down trend, variables are correlated. Up or down trend means whether they are moving upside or downside, that we have to establish. So either way, variables are correlated. Else variables have no correlation. If I will explain you. The dots scattering on the graph paper, if they are very far from each other, they are not correlated. If they are very closely plotted, they are correlated. That we will see in a paper diagram. Oh, I have not given the diagram. Okay. Next, we will see algebraic methods. That is mathematical methods. Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, Spearman's rank correlation coefficient of correlation, coefficient of concurrent deviations, and least squares method. 4 methods are there for calculating correlation, and in our syllabus only first two, Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation and Spearman's rank coefficient of correlation, are there. You know, the third and fourth concepts, that is coefficient of concurrent deviations and least squares method, are not there in our syllabus. They are not there in our syllabus, third and fourth. Now we will see what is Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation method. Karl Pearson, a reputed statistician, developed mathematical based formula for coefficient of correlation in 1890. So in 1890, Carl Pearson's a very reputed statistician. Earlier also we have seen some concepts regarding this Carl Pearson's. Carl Pearson's is a very old, very good statistician where he has given very many concepts for the statistics. And formula is named after Carl Pearson's. So Carl Pearson's name is given to the formula for using the for calculating the coefficient of correlation. And also product called product moment coefficient. This method is also called product moment coefficient. As product moment means a product, the multiplication will be done for something and that will be taken. So multiplication factor is also taken. That's why it is also called product moment coefficient. And it is denoted by R. Always correlation is denoted by small r. Small r is used for denoting correlation coefficient. Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation features. Now we will see what are the features of Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. This formula is based on arithmetic mean and standard deviation. So Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is based on arithmetic mean and standard deviation. So already you are well versed with the arithmetic mean. You have done so many problems in arithmetic mean, and you have also seen standard deviation in the last unit. So standard deviation and arithmetic mean, we have already learnt about this, and those two things will be used in the calculation of correlation also. And Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation determines, that means proves, a positive or negative relationship between variables. It determines, that is Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation calculates whether the correlation is a positive one or a negative one. And size of correlation relationship is always, as I said in the previous slide also, Pearson's the coefficient value will be between +1 and -1. And covariance most reliable. Covariance most reliable, and hence coefficient of correlation an ideal measure. Covariance means the variance between two variables, and the coefficient of correlation, COC, is used for coefficient of correlation. Wherever you find COC in this lesson or in correlation, you can understand that it is coefficient of correlation, an ideal measure. An ideal measure means it is suitable for all the measures, all the calculations. So this calculation is very well dependent and very well used in normal applications also. Now, Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, again, we can use in individual observations, in discrete series, and in also continuous series. So now we will see Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation in individual series, which is said to be direct method. It is also called actual mean method, because direct method relates to actual mean. Indirect method or shortcut method relates to assumed mean. So here we are using actual mean. That's why it is called direct method. And formula for coefficient of correlation is R is equal to sigma xy by n into sigma x into sigma y. Here we have to understand certain things. Now, small x and small y are used here. Small x is equal to, please write down, small x is equal to x minus x bar. capital X minus capital X bar. Small x is equal to capital X minus capital X bar. X bar means mean of first series, you can say, mean of X series, you can say. So first we will find out X is equal to capital X minus mean, and small y is equal to capital Y minus Y bar. Capital Y minus Y bar. Please write small x is equal to capital X minus X bar, and small y is equal to Y minus capital Y minus Y bar. That means we are taking deviations from actual mean. Deviations from actual mean of X series and Y series. You please remember, in correlation, we will have two series, X series and Y series. Till now, we have seen only one series, X. From in correlation, we will see two series, X and Y. So we will compare these two series or compare these two series for relationship or negative relationship. And n is number of items. N is number of items. In individual series, n is number of items. And sigma x is standard deviation of X series, and sigma y is standard deviation of Y series. So in other words, here we have to calculate X bar, Y bar, standard deviation of X, standard deviation of Y to find out the correlation. Formula we will explain here. We will understand. R is equal to sigma xy by n into sigma x by sigma y. Sigma x into sigma y. Where sigma xy is covariance of x and y. Covariance of x and y means the relationship. The covariance means x and y are multiplied. The deviations of x and y are multiplied. X is equal to x minus x bar, as I said, capital X minus capital X bar, and y is equal to y minus y bar. And here n is equal to number of pairs of observations, that is number of observations, right? And standard deviation of x, sigma x is standard deviation of x, and sigma y is standard deviation of Y series. Now we will understand the formula. The formula which is seen in the last slides, that is sigma xy by n into standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. This can also be written. This formula is also be written as sigma correlation is equal to sigma xy, xy is small xy, divided by square root of sigma small x square into sigma small y square. So here actually I said we have to calculate mean and then take deviations, and we will also calculate standard deviation. So instead of that, we will apply this formula. So here small x is equal to x minus x bar. Small x is equal to x minus x bar, you have written earlier. And small y is equal to y minus y bar. So these two are same. Now what we are doing in this formula is, we are taking the deviations. First of all, we have to calculate mean for given series. Mean for x, mean for y. Two series will be given, and for two series we will calculate mean, and then we will calculate deviations from mean, that is x minus x bar, y minus y bar. and those deviations are squared. Those deviations are squared. Deviation is indicated by small x square, and deviation y is indicated by small y, and that is squared, that is y square, and taken under root, that is correlation. And here we will take one example. Calculate the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation for given data. X is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the given reverse. No worry. Y is 15, 16, 14, 13, 11, 12, 10, 8, 9. Right? So these are also same sequential numbers, but some 15, 16 interchange was there. Anyway, the data is X series, Y series is given. Now we have to calculate the correlation by using the formula. Formula is, again I repeat, correlation is equal to R is equal to sigma small x small y divided by n into standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. This can also be written as sigma small x y by divided by under root sigma small x square into sigma small y square. That is the formula. This formula we will use. Now we have to calculate what is small x, what is small y, what is sigma x, what is sigma y, then x square, y square, then we will take sigma x square, sigma y square, and so on. So here small x is equal to x minus x bar, small y is equal to y minus y bar, we have calculated, and then we will take x square and y square. So sigma x square is 60 and sigma y square is 60. Now we got sigma x is equal to 45 and sigma y is equal to 108. That means 45 by 9 is the mean. 45 by 9 is 5 and 108 by 9 is 9. So mean of x is 45. The mean of x is 5. Mean of y is 9. Right? So x square, sigma x square we have calculated as 60, sigma y square as 60. Now sigma xy we have to take, sigma xy is equal to 57. Now we will put the formula again and then apply. Here standard deviation is calculated, root of sigma x square by n, standard deviation of y is root of y square by n, that is 2.58, 2.58 for both x series and y series. If you does not remember the calculation of standard deviation for individual observations, you please refer to the standard deviation lesson and then again come back to this lesson for better understanding. Right? Now we will calculate R is equal to sigma xy by n into standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. Sigma xy is 57, that we have calculated in the previous slide. Table we have prepared. That from that table we got sigma xy, sigma small x small y is equal to 57, which is divided by n into standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. N is 9. For both the pairs, we have 9 observations. 9 into 2.58 into 2.58. 9 into 2.58 into 2.58. This is under root. So 9 into 2.58 into 2.58 under root is nothing but 3 into 2.58. 3 into 2.58, 57 by 3 into 2.58. that is 57 divided by 2.58 into 3, 7.74. So 57 divided by 7.74. Oh, sorry. N into standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y, not root directly. Okay. 57 by 59.91. So R is equal to 0.951. 0.951. That is correlation. So the correlation is between +1 and -1. That is 0.951. Because it is 0.951, we can understand that it is positive correlation and high correlation. Hence, both the variables are very highly positively correlated. That is the conclusion. This conclusion is very, very important for standard deviation, for correlation, for regression also. Conclusion is very, very important for examination point of view. Spearman's rank correlation. Now we will understand what is Spearman's rank correlation. In statistics, in the introduction chapter, I said the statistics is related to quantitative analysis. That's why it is also called quantitative analysis. Statistics is also called quantitative analysis because we deal with quantity, not quality. But in many cases, we will come across qualitative data also. Actually, quality cannot be measured in terms of numbers. For example, beauty of a girl, we cannot measure in terms of numbers, or performance of the student, or intelligence of the student, knowledge of the student. We cannot measure in terms of numbers. We cannot say this is number given to the so and so students for his intelligence. So in such case, it is very difficult to calculate the correlation, but we have to calculate the correlation. For that purpose, Spearman has given a method for quantifying the quality data, and then we will calculate the correlation. Charles Edward Spearman, he is also a famous statistician, Charles Edward Spearman. He has developed the rank correlation in the year 1904. In the year 1904, he found out the Spearman's rank correlation, and that is useful when quantitative measure cannot be fixed. Quantitative measure cannot be fixed means we cannot give number to the quality, character, intelligence, knowledge, beauty. We cannot give a number. It is only an estimation. It is only our perception. It is only our thinking. It is only our assumption that we are giving those numbers. Like beauty, intelligence, etc. And it is denoted by RS. Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is denoted by RK, and Spearman's RS. Small r, S, that is called superscript. And RS ranges between plus and minus 1. Any correlation will give you plus between -1 and +1 range. The formula is RS is equal to 1 minus 6 sigma d square by n cube minus n. You have to by heart all these formulas and procedure for calculating the correlation. That is Rs is equal to 1 minus 6 sigma d square by n cube minus n. Sigma d 6 sigma d square, that is 6 into sigma d square. D, capital D, is difference of ranks. Please write down. D is, capital D is difference of ranks of X series and Y series. And Rs is Spearman's rank correlation, and N is number of observations. So we require Dn. Both we got. D is difference of ranks and N is number of observations. And rank correlation can be done in two ways. When ranks are given, when ranks are not given. Rank correlation is calculated in two ways. That is, when ranks are given and when ranks are not given. That we will understand in the next coming slides. What is ranks? Rank is giving some rank to the quality, right? Now, steps for when ranks are given. So, as I said, we can calculate the correlation of Spearman's ranks correlation in two ways: when ranks are given, when ranks are not given. When ranks are given, we need not go very long, lengthy procedure. When ranks are not given, then we have to decide what are the ranks, and then we will calculate the correlation. So when ranks are given, directly we will calculate the correlation by taking the difference as D, and N is number of pairs, and square these differences. We have to take the difference R1 minus R2. R1 minus D is equal to, capital D is equal to R1 minus R2. And then you square it, D square. Then you know what is N. You can understand what is N, the number of pairs. Then you apply this formula, that is 1 minus 6 into 6 sigma d square by n cube minus n. We will see one problem. Steps: assign the ranks based on the highest or lowest value of each variable. That is, take the values here. Of course, when ranks are given, these are not necessary. And when ranks are not given, these ranks are necessary. That is, arrange the data as it is given. As it is given, the data should be written, and then you give 1, 2, 3, 4 ranks to the lowest number to highest number, or highest number to lowest number. The ranks are normally given from lowest number to highest number. Lowest number is 1 and highest number is maximum number. And we can also give reverse order, that is, highest number is given 1 and lowest number is given last number. In that way, we will give the ranks. We will see one example, then we can understand. And calculate the difference. Then we will calculate the difference R1 minus R2. And then these ranks are squared, and then we will apply the formula 1 minus 6 sigma d square by n cube minus n. So this formula is used for calculating Spearman's rank correlation. We will take one example. X is 415, 434, 420, 430, 424, 428. Now, here we have 6 numbers. 6 plus 6. X series 6, Y series 6 numbers are there. In X series and Y series, you write as it is in 2 columns. In 2 columns, You write these numbers. You write these numbers. Now, first number is X series 415, 434, 420, 430, 424 and 428. Y series 330, 332, 328, 331, 327, 325. Now, in this third and fourth columns, you write R1, R2. In third column, you write R1. In fourth column, you write R2. Okay, hope you are writing. Then, X series, you go to X series. In X series, you identify the lowest number. The lowest number is 415. Right? Right. 415 against 415 in R1, you write 1. R1 column, you write 1 against 415. That is first rank. And next lowest number is 420. After 415, we have 420. Right against 420, 2. Opposite to 420 in R1, you write 2. For 415, 1. 420, 2. Next number is 424. 424 is 3. Right? 415 is 1. 420 is 2. 424 is 3. And then 428 is 4th. 428 is 4th. 430 is 5th. And 434 is 6th. So these are the ranks. In R1, you have written all the 6 ranks. And for Y also, smallest number is 327. 325 is the smallest number. So write in R2 column, you write 1 against 325. So for 325, you write 1. And the next number is 327, that is 2. 328 is third rank. 330 is the fourth rank. 331 is the fifth rank. 331 is the fifth rank. And 332 is the sixth rank. So 6 ranks are given. 6 ranks are given for X, given for Y. This is how we will prepare the ranks if ranks are not given. Right? Now we will see the problem. Solution. So first 4 columns, just now I have explained you. Hope you have written the same thing. You please see this. Here, highest number is 1, lowest number is last taken. But we have done reversely. We have taken lowest number as 1, highest number as 6. No problem. Whatever the number you give for X series, that can be given to the Y series also. You follow the same ascending order or descending order for giving ranks. Now take difference. 6 minus 3 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus of minus 1 is 4 minus 5 is minus 1. And 3 minus 6 is minus 3. So by taking squares, 3 square is 9, 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 0 is 0, 1 is 1, minus 3 is 9. So sigma d square is equal to 20. You please understand the table. In the first column, we have taken X series. In the second column, we have taken Y series. And we have taken the ranks, highest number as 1, lowest number as last number. That is 6 for both X series and Y series. One important point is you do not change the series which is given. You write the series as it is, X series as it is, Y series as it is. Then you take the ranks and you take the difference. Then differences are squared. And formula is 1 minus 6 sigma d square by n cube minus n. Now 1 minus 6 into 20. Sigma d square is 20. 6 into 20 divided by number of pairs are 6. N is 6. So 6 cube minus 6 is 6 cube minus 6 cube is 6 into 6, 36. 36 into 6. That is somewhere around 216. So that will come to 0.429. The correlation is 0.429. Now we will understand what is probable error. See, you imagine when we were calculating averages, when we were calculating measures of dispersion, in all these calculations, sometimes we have taken round figure. If it is 0.9, we have taken 1. We have taken round figure. So when we round off the values, automatically some error will be there in the answer. We will not get the correct answer. So when we round off the values, then that means we are ignoring the fraction values. So when we are calculating such type of measures, such type of things, rounding off, then there will be some error. What is the error? Actual, what is the answer? And what is the answer calculated? So by understanding this, that difference is called probable error. The actual answer we got and the real answer what we get when we calculate the measures accurately. So by using calculator, of course, we can use accurately, but when more decimal numbers are coming, then we have to compulsorily round off the data. So here probable error is calculated as 0.6745. That is a constant factor. Always 0.6745 is taken into 1 minus r square by root n. R square is correlation square. Correlation is squared and root of n. That is number of observations under root. So this formula you have to by heart, 0.6745 into 1 minus r square, that is correlation square, divided by root n. Now where r is coefficient of correlation and n is number of pairs. Now if r is less than probable error, correlation not significant. If R is less than probable error is more and R is less, then coefficient of correlation is not significant. That is, it is negligible. If R is 6 times greater than probable error, that means if R is 6 times greater than probable error, that is 6 into probable error. If you take that one, and if R is more than that is correlation is significant. And formula to get the lower and upper limits in which coefficient of correlation lies, P is equal to R plus R minus PE. P is called correlation. Conditions, probable error conditions. Data must form bell-shaped curve. Bell-shaped curve means the shape of the data should come just like a bell. And PE should be calculated from a sample. Probable error should be calculated and no bias in selecting sample. Example we will take. Suppose after calculation R is 0.6 and N is equal to 64. 64 items are there for which correlation is calculated. We got correlation as small r, that is 0.6. Probable error is equal to 0.6745, 1 minus r square by root n. R is equal to 0.6 and N is equal to 64. Right? This is the calculation. So probable error we got is 0.054. PE is 0.054 and correlation is 6. So if you remember the previous slide conditions, then correlation is significant. The second condition, 6 times probable error, 6 into 0.054. You calculate 6 into 0.054, 324.324. That is less than correlation. So correlation is significant. That is identified. Now we will conclude the topic. Correlation is calculated through graphic and algebraic methods. So we have seen correlation is calculated by graphics, by using graph paper, and also by using arithmetic formulas. And Karl Pearson method of correlation of coefficient of correlation is very popular. Among the two methods we have seen, Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation and Spearman's rank correlation. Out of these two, the Karl Pearson is more popular. Karl Pearson is widely used. Spearman's rank correlation is calculated when quantitative measures are not suitable. When quantitative measures are not suitable, quantitative numbers are not suitable, then we will calculate the Spearman's rank correlation. Like beauty, leadership, intelligence, all these things we cannot measure in mathematical values. They are only assumptions, they are only presumptions. So we cannot calculate the correlation for all this. But Spearman has given us a method for calculating the correlation. Probable error measures the reliability of coefficient of correlation value. Probable error measures the reliability of coefficient of correlation value. So after calculating the probable error, then we can say whether it is significant, whether the correlation is significant or not. So here some assignment is there given. Total 7 questions are given. You please work out these assignments and submit it. Okay, you have one problem, two theory questions, and here also two problems, two theory questions, right? So you please work out and submit the same. Thank you very much.